not even sure if I can call them carries because it's like Snapfire here. We're going to be puck pickup. It feels like this team is very comfortable at shifting whatever they feel is going to work for the city.
Yeah, maybe he's not going to do anything too crazy, but is there a chance we see like the phase shift attacks in a Deso or a Maelstrom coming up?
What about the Witch? Seen that?
Oh,
times,
yes,
right?
that's true. The Witch's Blade too, yeah. I just think they do, even though they have the Pango with the last pick, which was a nice pickup in order to clean up a lot of the summons, I think it's not necessarily reliably enough when you get to like the 25-30 minute mark in the game.
Okay, so it looks like we're going to be doing a lot of lane swaps. What is it that Liquid wanted to avoid here? Because they stuck with the puck mid, I'm assuming just because they want the levels on him rather than the Druid going mid. But what about these side lanes?
I think it's the Pango versus the Lycan matchup they wanted. I think they're trying to dodge Pango versus Monkey King because Pango loves fighting against the Wolves because the Wolves are only strong against magic damage. Swashbuckle is physical, while on the other hand, Monkey King is quite happy to play against any melee hero.
And he wouldn't be happy playing up against the lone druid, right? Like it's just a bear being in his face all the time, not able to get the Jinko. We're seeing some fighting up here in the top lane, a little bit back and forth between the courts who are trying to deal with the Wolves and get them out of here. But good job by Vika GG. Toby controls it pretty well, and they actually deny both of them.
Yeah, it looks like Viking GG is going to get the lanes that they want, but honestly, I don't think these lanes are too bad. Foxy's going to pay the price a little bit, but as you see, there's always an answer in the off lane. Taiga's just going to drag his creeps all the way back to the tier 3.
The dire pull. You can't go between the tier 1 and tier 2. You got to go all the way back between the tier 2 and tier 3. Fortunately, Celery's got enough space that he can just follow and basically have a CS battle. Which see how mid's going. 10-1 for Mickey compared to 11-1 for Boom. Boom has been super impressive this entire quarantine season as a mid laner for Viking GG. I feel like he has been so integral to their success.
Yeah, I remember him being the guy that revealed how broken Quap was last year or so. I definitely will not forget the impact he had in that tournament. They took the game off the secret, off the back of his performance. And I love this Void Spirit versus Puck matchup because both heroes build to kill each other. And it's all about execution. It's all about who catches each other with their pants down later on. And I've seen people willingly pick Puck into Void Spirit. I see people willingly pick Void Spirit into Puck. And it's just a fun match.
Gonna have to swashbuckle away. The pressure of the Monkey King is a little bit too much. I was also distracted by the fact that apparently Koifa named his bear after Mickey. How cute is that? That's the true carry on the team. It's bear.
I guess cute's a word that you could use for it.
What would you use for it?
I'd call it a little I don't know.
You think he's being demeaning to his ally, his teammate? He's like, I own you, in a way?
Yeah, you can twist it that way. I like that. I like that.
Of course,
What I was
the
going
toxic
for, that's definitely
American
better than
would
anything
think
I would come up with.
Well, we have yet to have a first blood, but maybe when we power runes, sure, see some support rotations. Since that mid lane is so focused on being able to kill each other, I'm sure the power runes are going to play a pretty integral part to what's going to be happening.
Yeah, this is just a level-dependent game. Both teams have heavy push lineups, which means most of the time they're going to lack kill potential early, and it's all on the back of these mid heroes who both heavily rely on their ultimates to job done. So I'm sure the pace of this game is going to ramp up pretty damn quick, but definitely an expected slow but sure start.
Taiga being harassed so much, he actually had to pull the creep wave into the tier 3, so won't actually pull the creep equilibrium back at all, which is really not to the favor of Boxy, who's kind of suffering his level behind Shad right now. The lane's looking a bit more rough. Well, it seems like Lycan is fine. They're actually going to bring the Crystal Maiden down to the bottom lane. the Lone Druid isn't necessarily needed anymore. They get a nice roll on to Shad here. Shad trying to get those Jingu stacks up. Does manage to get it. It's going to be frostbitten. Turns around, throws Stone. Look at that. They use the Collect to be able to stop any light steal to come out. Now they're going to body block Celery up. He does have his tether, but the creep wave is not there in time. What a great setup from Liquid, and the glyph usage was just beautiful there as well. Back over the mid lane, though, the support showing bottom lane means mid is free. Aramis to be able to rotate on.
This will
that fort, that just made me so excited, man. That was a really nice return. Taiga TP's in. Wow. Okay. I didn't even mean to watch that. I just had my perspective like chilling in the mid lane talking about that last point, and Taiga just catches him off guard, and suddenly he's almost level 5. 5 minutes into the game.
And they're just going to hover around this mid lane and beg Mickey for some bottle charges so they can go again here. Aramis.
He also got urn charges there.
Yeah.
He just got his urn. That's even more important.
Yeah, he actually used one of the urn charges. I think he healed the puck in lane and then used offensively on the Void Spirit and then just got 2 of those charges back. It's pretty sick for Taiga. 6-minute power room.
Spirit seems to carry.
Mickey is gonna die here. They roll from Taiga, does grab the DD. See if no shackle.
Whoever gets level 6 first in this pin matchup just owns the other guy. You saw it there. Puck is eventually going to use Orb to farm, and then suddenly Void Spirit can just double Astro Step you and kill you. On the other hand, if Puck gets 6 first, spoils you, and you have nothing to get away. As we see, Boxy is managing to scrape together some farm in the bottom lane. He's honestly the same level as Monkey King, which is pretty crazy, but Will almost catch him. He does.
Now, he's going to die with no swashbuckle up to be able to get away, get the distance. Shad looks like he's probably falling a level behind. Looking at top lane, looks like Toby almost has his level 6 and his Necro book. I have no idea how well a solo Lycan is able to pressure a solo Lone Druid when it comes to both of them.
I think he should be able to. I don't think Lone Druid can deal with these Necro books. Maybe I'm mistaken, though. I honestly don't know for sure. He just doesn't have any AoE damage or anything like that.
Yeah, and he also has like a very low mana pool, so I could see a world where he pops True Form and he has so much HP that like he's not necessarily threatened so much, but
not on my
just have to wait and see. It's not going to be a solo battle though. Support's coming in on both sides because I feel like they both.
I think they both understand that one guy could just murder the other at any given moment now that they've come to their power spikes. So this is the very important times to make sure you don't have it happen to your side, basically.
Feels like he's needed a bottom lane to be able to get enough damage to kill Shad here. They don't actually get a disarm. They're still not getting a disarm. Shad, he's walking away, managed to get the Jingu up, and he doesn't have enough though. Thanks to the Crystal Maiden coming in, they are going to be able to kill him. Celery's going to go down as well, and they're even going to try and catch Aramis here. The roll in is going to be able to stop the shackles. Boxy has a little bit of HP to burn thanks to the magic wand, and will be able to get 3 kills in that bottom lane as a result. Force the rotation from Mike and GG and still win the fight. Liquid feels like they finally kind of broke the laning phase. It was going tit for tat for so long.
Yeah, these are the moments where I get reminded on Monkey King that sometimes you're just never supposed to use your stun. I know for a fact that Liquid just saw him use his stun. It was like, get him, guys. Yeah. And they just all went on him, and that was a moment where I was like, oh, is he going to stun them and kill them all? And instead, it's on cooldown for another 5 seconds, and it's just not a coincidence. They know exactly what it takes for Monkey King to stand his ground and turn the engagement, but as Liquid looking to get even more done now that Pango has hit 6 and both supports are 6. 9 minutes in.
They're gonna run right into Boom, and Boom in turn runs into them with the Astral Step. Gets a good amount of damage. It's gonna be rolled on though. Has another Astral Step to go, but Box is gonna join him here and pop the Rolling Thunder. Not gonna be able to go for the Void Spirit. He sees save that Astral Step for his escape mechanism. Celery though is for food, and they're gonna try and chase him more because Mickey's actually gonna meet them with this fight in the jungle. He pushed in the mid lane, cut over, and get a kill on Aramis as well. 3-8 as now Liquid begin to extend a bit of an edge.
Queuing up the Witchblade on Puck. A lot of mid-game damage coming out from him, as pretty much every core in the game is having a decent start, but all the kills have been going in favor of Liquid. So since everybody on the map is rich, you're actually getting so much from getting these kills. Sometimes we'll see the kill score be 8-3 and have there be barely any of a difference because maybe they killed a bunch of the supports, maybe they were picking on the offlaner, but all 6 cores are about even at the beginning of the laning phase, you know, around 5-6 minutes in. And suddenly these kills have really swung the momentum. Suddenly 3,000 net worth, 10 minutes in. Timings are going to come out that much earlier for Liquid. Can they get anything done behind this Lycan is my question. He's got his ultimate. He hasn't used it yet. He's got Necrobook. Looks like a Necrobook 2 coming.
That net worth lead is about to get even bigger, Brian. They're farming up quad stacks in the right now. I just checked Mike and GG's side. There's nothing like that. So Mickey, that is a huge amount of experience in gold that he just got. Jumps that net worth chart up a little bit more. Insania is in some trouble though. He's trying to defend his tower. Celebrity is already using his tether though, so Boxy might be able to take advantage of this unless he's controlled up too much by Boom. He does manage to get off the Rolling Thunder. He's still susceptible to some visual damage, but because they're melee, they can't really go for him. In fact, now with the coil here from the puck, they're going to be able to control up Toby and burst him down. He dies. Shat jumps into the middle of this fight. Unable to hit his Ether Remnant though, and Taiga keeping his distance, slowing him down. The next round of spells is coming up for Mickey. He's got a silence. That's going to kill Shad. Now they're going to chase down Boom potentially. No, they're saying, okay, we're out of spells. Let's not push our luck too much here. I've got to go defend mid anyway, as there's a Serpent Ward push coming in from Aramis with the Siege Wagon. Got it to be able to deal with this. In fact, they might. He's a little bit outside the wards here. Looks like he will manage to wait in time, but still a lot of damage on the bare minimum. It's not entirely taking it. Oh, they do actually get Taiga at the top lane, who managed to get a mega kill streak top of that with the mid tower going. All right, a little bit of windfall for Mike and GG towards the tail end of all that.
Yeah, I was starting to wonder if they were just going to get steamrolled, but they do. A little sign of life here coming out from the Radiant. I just don't know when it gets better for them. I feel like what I mentioned during the draft is, or like after the draft, is that Lycan has a harder time as the game goes on actually fighting into the opponent. This is the moment in the game. This is his timing when he gets these early Necrobooks that he's supposed to be kind of just marching down lanes, taking buildings. And instead, he's kind of just farming his own safe lane here near his tier 2, while the rest of his team is playing the map. And this is just not exactly what I'm sure they had in mind at this stage in the game.
Yeah, it feels like they're waiting for that biggest power spike in the Necrobook 3, but it also feels like Quaitla's kind of following him around. So maybe it's just because of the fear. He's not scared of the Lycan at all.
I think he knows he can TP with it, right? He can TP away. So worst case scenario, the Lycan has the ulti to make him TP away. I think that's a worthwhile trade in his eyes, as free kill on the Witch, it looks like, as Mickey does have the Witchblade complete.
Healthy amount of damage. Your intelligence poised in for 3 seconds on top of the burst that Puck already has.
At this stage, it's 270 damage. It's basically an extra nuke, right? You have 2 nukes already of the Waning Rift and the Illusory Orb. Now you have a 3rd one.
Yeah, and the cooldown is very, very closely matched with the Illusory Orb and Waning Rift. So pretty much you get a second round of which plays with the other 2 spells. And then Boxy, White Taiga gets out the Rolling Thunder inside the coil again. 2 down. Shad gets brought in by Celery, but Celery is just gone. That freezing field quickly blows him up, and Shad asks, why, oh why are we taking that fight there? Liquid, they seemed well prepared and well set up. They're just like, how are all 5 of them around inside of their own jungle?
I see for you.
I love the way these top tier teams distribute their resources, because you asked that question, but it's just Quaitla farming the bottom half alone, ready to show up, and the rest of them just making moves in the top and the middle lane. Like, that's all they've been doing. They're completely aiming to just counterplay the push from Viking GG. So while it may seem weird that they're ahead, but they're playing on their own side of the map, they know if they're ahead and nothing happens in the game, that they're going to win. So they're just like, okay, we're just going to plant ourselves like a barrier on our side of the map and say, I dare you to come take our stuff. they just kill you. And it's just so cool to watch how smooth it looks. I feel like I could imagine exactly how I'd want this game to go, and they just like read my mind, and they're all still playing the game, and I've got like bird's eye view and everything. I've got all the information I need, and they just know, man. It's just crazy to watch.
It feels like they have a very good how to count. Because that is kind of what you're talking about, right? And I know how Viking GG want to be able to take this ideally, where they want to be pushing. It all comes around to like team.
Yeah, it really has felt like Liquid is like basically peeking into Viking GG's playbook. Kind of just a step ahead the entire time. Maybe they're stream sniping on the 15-minute delay. You know, but yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know how they know all this stuff.
Yeah, they would be just coming out of the draft right now if they're streaming.
Oh, sorry, I saw the 8K net worth lead. I thought it was later into the game.
I think you know, you're forgiven for that. It's a 9,000 net worth lead this early on is kind of a one-sided game, which is not what I expected, especially from Viking GG, seeing as this team has been, I feel like, one of Liquid's toughest rivals. You know, Blitz will try and tell me all day long that, hey, we won the series that were important, but it is still Viking GG who's won many more series over Liquid than vice versa, including the last series. Top lane, they do manage to get a kill on Insania, but in turn, the support of Viking GG Pyramid falls at bottom.
Yeah, I feel like Liquid's the team that's going to decide how this series goes. They're the most polarizing in terms of their performances. I feel like we're getting the tier 1 Liquid. Sometimes we see the tier 3 Liquid. We're definitely seeing the tier 1 like execution and just honestly crispness with every movement they've made. I feel like every time I look at the map where their heroes are placed, you know, the Crystal Maiden feeds to a gank, and now the Pango feels safe enough to go farm the top dangerous part of the map. They're putting all their kill heroes together. You saw the Air Spirit kick with the coil combo. Any hero's gonna die to that, right? That coil snap, it's meant to be punishing. You're meant to have to walk out of it. Instead, he's just gonna kick you right out.
Soon he may even have, he could get both of the talents too. 30 damage and phase shift attack. He really wants to get that right click build. I think is a good idea, especially against this Lycan. You've got so many targets out there, they're going to get the initiation on the Lycan before he can get off the shapeshift. Beautiful entrance there. Looks like Taiga may be pulled back, but they're going to blow a lot of spells from a distance just to bring Taiga down to half. So they are looking at this.
Are scanning.
Good setup. And it looks like to me, Liquid, off of killing Stellar here from Reload came back, probably going to take this tier 2 and take the outpost before 20 minutes, which is, again, another sign of how one-sided this game is.
Radiant's bottom tower.
So I know you play some like melee fours and stuff that may build this item, but in general, how does it feel to play this patch as the guy that doesn't build Orb of Corrosion? I feel like that item is so broken.
I would kind of tend to agree with that, yeah. I think the nerf was a little well placed. Oh, almost caught Shat before he jumped out, but Shat was able to get away in time, quickly kills Insania. Now with the shackles on the Boxy, they're going to be able to bring him down. Toby is looking for more, and he's going to find it too. Koipa managed to get the fear off on some of the heroes, but with his tanky form, Toby gives up on that kill. Shat's going to try and protect everybody with this Wukong's command, but Liquid, they're just going to wait on the outside of it. Mickey preventing them from being able to head back to the base. Taiga rolling in, but maybe a little bit too soon. No, perfect for Mickey though to come in and clean up all these kills. Even if it costs Taiga his life, it's only going to be Shad who gets away. Inevitably, it is a 3 for 4 because Insania did die in that team fight to the favor of Liquid.
Yeah, he does end up taking the 30 damage in the phase shift attacks. The AoE damage already showing itself to help clear the Lycan summons. I feel like that's kind of the final straw. I feel like they deal with most of Viking GG's lineup just kind of like with their heroes kit already, and now the puck is kind of just sealed the deal.
Yeah, maybe it would be a different story if we were talking about a Monkey King who is building, you know, like that carry style of like Battle Fury, Aghanim Scepter, and we're talking about like, oh, this guy's going to turn into Linky Base. This is an Orb of Corrosion Maelstrom Monkey King. Like, he was supposed to win the early game in Snowball.
The crazy thing about that when you say that is if they hadn't glyphed that creep wave properly, he probably would have killed 1 or 2 heroes and he could have just very well snowballed the game. It's crazy when you rewind it back in your head how these little inches can add up so much. As a smoke, looking for boom.
Breaks. Viking GG. They know what kind of perilous situation they're in right now. Have to hold high grounds and tower areas.
Under attack.
They know Liquid's going to be constantly on the hunt, especially initiation game. And initiation that's going to go entirely unpunished with the Lincoln.
A prize.
Very bold, diving in and starting fights.
I think the most broken part about Orb of Corrosion is I know Blightstone used to or does as well, but the fact that it stacks with Deso, you kind of just have like a medium Scotty throw, and then you just have -9 on the enemy targets. That's just crazy. And you just see Lone Druid, it helps not only with killing heroes, it helps with killing rogues.
No, it really is fancy. Especially on something like a Lone Druid, which it feels like you just have 3 slots. So, you know, you never have to replace that Orb of Corrosion. Maybe in super late game, you put that Scotty in place of the Orb of Corrosion, then you can put the Orb of Corrosion on your hero.
I feel like you put the Scotty on your hero because the bear doesn't get stats, man. That'd be such a waste. If you had this Scotty on your hero.
Listen, Brian, I haven't seen that situation yet, alright?
Yeah, we'll get there. Honestly, you say that, and it's like, at some point, you'd think you'd see everything, but that's just over it. You never do.
Really don't. Speaking of Koifa, he's almost... When are they just going to march down these top... I feel like Liquid is like full control of the game right now. They've been hunting heroes rather than... I kind of expected them to just roll through this top lane, you know, since it's free money. But they're just not giving Viking GG any room to breathe. They're making sure that Chad doesn't get to do that split pushing.
Radiant's top tower has fallen.
He just pokes and prods at the bottom lane.
You know, I think when you're winning the game like this and the enemy team has a hard time fighting you, the best thing you can do rather than forcing objectives is to actually just try to hunt them down as much as possible and say, I dare you to try to fight us. Like, the thing is, if they can fight you and you try to go for a kill, it might turn into some like reverse team wipe that you just can't afford to have when you're ahead by 15k. But when their team fight is lackluster in comparison, that's just never really going to happen. So every time you try to hunt somebody down, it's more like they're going to turn tail and run and hope like every man for himself kind of thing rather than coming to each other's assistance.
It's like a game of chicken down bottom lane. Taiga,
exactly,
he's just waiting. He knows like Shad is going to be playing around this area. And as soon as he rolls away, Shad's finally going to show himself.
You know, Shad thought he can't possibly wait a third creep.
Yeah. And Taiga was probably sitting there going, Kill Carry is going to be patient enough to watch 2 creep waves die and not try and run.
Yeah. That's a tough one, man. It's just sitting right in front of you, man.
Yeah, I know you as a carry player, there's no way you see that. That was like the bad ending of Indiana Jones. He just rolled over that big boulder. He goes down without Liquid committing in the slightest. They've just been letting the bear take the buildings this entire time. And Viking GG not able to...
Radiant's middle barracks has fallen.
And when you can't fight him and you're against a lone druid, you just kind of just end up watching the lone druid kill your base. I think this is an important thing to learn when you guys are thinking about going high ground, is I feel like a lot of times if I'm playing the push hero like Lone Druid, your team kind of like griefs you a bit because they want to like initiate onto the opponent. And I'm like, dude, they have to go on us. Like, let them go on us. And in this case, you see there, like, they don't want to go on the Lone Druid. So what ends up happening is Liquid's patiently waiting behind him, and the Radiant's base just dies. So think about who you want to go on who. I think is a pretty important part of high ground sieging. Is Liquid's kind of just putting on a clinic. I don't really know what else to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, Liquid just watched Celery and Chad move up to the top lane. They could have tried to hunt him down or something. But they're like, oh man, you can be at the top part of the map for 30 seconds, and in that 30 seconds, you're going to get 300 gold, and we're going to take bottom lane of Bear. So good luck with this.
Yeah, you play this whole hunting phase until you have the items you need to go high ground, and it looks like they assess that to be the assault
does this to me.
That just accelerates how quickly they take these towers by such a large degree that, yeah, at the time that they're taking your racks and you're trying to get a trade, you know, you're picking up 2 bounty roots. It's like, okay, that's not all that great. And now they're just going to collapse the map. They TP their support to top, their least useful hero for the team fight, while the rest of them control the triangle. This is going to easily set up for that tier 2 push top, and then that final lane of barracks or the road. Kind of just play it as slow as they want, because at the end of the day, they keep saying, hey Viking, we dare you to do something. And I don't know, I don't know if Vikings lineup really functions like this, right? Like they can't, it wasn't built to make some comeback team fight.
Yeah, it's built a lot more around movement and tower taking, right? Like just your support duo, for example. The biggest team fighters are in. IO's wanting to be able to play that game.
Radiant's top
map
tower
and
is under
taking
attack.
team fights that are advantageous because the enemy is not together or something. And
Radiant's
Shadow Shaman, well, when you're behind like this, you don't do anything in team fight. You just kind of die over. So.
What's worse, Shadow Shaman or Disruptor when you're
Radiant's top tower is
I'm
under
gonna
attack.
say Shadow Shaman, because at least Disruptor, you can just drop your ultimate and have a disruptor.
Radiant's top tower is fallen.
Meanwhile, Aramis, in order to get it to stable, I guess Tanks is out there, but there's no chance of getting shackled. As you can see, Corvus gonna run up to the bear, and he's gonna come in with BKB, gets on the Wukong's command, and see if they can fight here for once with the bear stuck inside the serpent. It will die. Corvus says, don't worry, I've got another one where that came from. Foxy, he gets a little bit low. Shad doesn't want to go outside of his ring. His ring is gone now, and so too is the armor. So Koifa quickly takes him down. Couple shots off the bear. That is truly it for Mike Fiji, and it feels like that's been it